Hello, welcome everyone. I know there might be a little bit of a lag on my voice to my display. If there is, I'm very sorry about that, but hopefully you can hear me clearly. Um, it's kind of interesting talking to the void. You never really know what's going on. But my name is Christos Vayanas. Thank you so much for tuning in to this evening's virtual concert. This is definitely a first for me, as well as everyone who's involved tonight, musicians and probably a lot of the audience as well. But we really are grateful to be doing this. I'm very grateful and honored to be providing this platform for these wonderful musicians tonight. It really means a lot to me to be able to share them and their music with you all. And yeah, basically, this platform allows me to patch them in through YouTube in different locations. So they're all, obviously in their homes in different locations, and we'll be basically taking turns sharing for about 15 minutes music, and they'll share a little bit about what they're going to play, but probably mostly just play. My initial hope was that we could have a two-way connection, so we could hear some applause from the audience, but I think we've decided to keep it much more simple. So yeah, so we'll just be sharing our music and taking turns. So I'll just kind of jump into it. Our first musician is Clemens Teufel, and he is a classical pianist and a very good friend of mine, and I'm sure a lot of people in the audience as well. So I will be patching Clemens in, and I'll let him take the floor.
Welcome. I'm very excited to be here and to be with you in these times. I can't see you, but I know you're there. I have selected two pieces for this performance. It's my first performance out of my studio at home. And yeah, it's quite nerve-wracking to get all the technical equipment up and running. But hopefully it is working. Speaking of, I will lean a little bit toward the side to speak more into the microphone so you can hear me better. Today I will play for you two pieces, one by Frédéric Chopin and one by Franz Liszt. The first piece is going to be the Nocturne, Opus 50, number 1. And this is the first one of the second set of nocturnes that Chopin composed. He is getting much more advanced and complex in this second set, although he was only 20 years old when he composed this in 1830. The piece is also not the typical nocturne, which is somehow why I chose it, and I learned it during quarantine, so to say. I'm really excited to share it with you. A nocturne is a lullaby normally, a nocturnal piece, but this nocturne has a lot of light and a lot of passion, so it's definitely not a piece to fall asleep with. So Opus 15, number 1. the second piece I'm going to perform for you is by Franz Liszt. And it's a very interesting piece. It's part of the Année de Pèlerinage. It was written when Franz Liszt was traveling. He had stolen the Countess Marie d'Agoult from her husband, so to say. You have to imagine in the 19th century in Paris, a countess would leave her husband to go on tour with a wild artist like Franz Liszt. That was quite a scandal. And they visited Switzerland in the first year, and one of the places where they stopped was Luzern. And there's the chapel for William Tell, who's a folk hero of Switzerland, and the story goes that he basically disrespected the new ruler, new governor, if you will, who was sent from the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, the regime from the Habsburg family, to Switzerland. And this new governor, I want to call him, he put a stick in the middle of the town and center and put his head on, and everybody had to greet and bow when they walked by to show their respect. And William Tell was not that type of a person, so he refused to do that and was arrested for it, and with him was his 10-year-old son, arrested as well. And they were both set to be executed. We're talking about the 14th century here. And but then the new governor, he heard that William Tell was a fantastic shot with the crossbow. So he found it amusing and wanted to give him a chance. And he said, if you can split an apple with your crossbow from the head of your son, you'll be free. And so everything was set up. He did the shot, he split the apple, everything was fine. But he had a second arrow in his hand and was ready to shoot. And the governor asked him and said, so why did you have a second arrow here? You had only one shot. And he responded that he would have killed him if he had killed his son. Well, that made this governor very unhappy again. So he said, well, I will spare your life, but you will be imprisoned. And the story goes on and on, but basically William Tell was able to flee and shot that governor in the end. And Franz Liszt was so impressed by this that he wrote a piece about this chapel that is a bit there to remember of William Tell.
right. Just feels so strange not to applaud, so I'm going to. Feel free to applaud at home. Thank you so much, Clemens. Now we're going to be moving on to another good friend, Nassim Al-Atrash, who is a wonderful cellist, very interesting, very unique cellist, I would say. And I hope everyone is patient with me because I am running this program for the first time and trying to MC, and it's a little more complicated than I thought it would be, but hopefully you all are enjoying it so far. So yeah, I think I'm just going to continue to keep passing things over. So I am now introducing you to Nassim Al-Atrash.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Clemens, for this wonderful performance. This is really special times that we're living now, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be able to share music together through internet. This is really a difficult time, I imagine, for many of us, and music has been a source of comfort for me, and I think for so many people. So I've decided today to perform a piece that I've composed in 2017. It's a suite for cello and orchestra, but today I'll be performing it as a solo, performing different sections from the piece, not the entire piece. The suite has 4 movements. And first movement is called riwaya, which in Arabic means a story or a tale. And it talks about daily life, home as we know it, the normal routine that we are used to living. And this, I think, connects to today's world in a way that we all are missing home, in a sense of missing our routine, missing our normal life, normality as we know it. I wrote this piece when in 2017, when the crisis of refugees was happening and is still happening, as a reflection to how it affected me and how I felt. It reflects the feelings of losing one's home and not being able to reconnect with home, being far away. The second movement, Ramad, which means ash in Arabic, it's the war movement. It reflects violence. Third movement is called Lifta, which I've released also in 2018. And this piece reflects the idea of leaving home and missing home. And the fourth movement, the last movement, Risala, which is a piece that talks about the idea of finding home, or the concept of home somewhere else, feeling the feelings of belonging. After a long struggle, there's this dance that reflects happiness, and I hope that this feeling can be translated into this time that we're living, and that we will pass. It will pass really soon, and we're all gonna go back to our lives and continue our lives normally. The pieces will have a short stop in between, but they will be connected with different improvisations, showcasing the Arabic style of cello playing. For the past few years, I've been working on developing the language of Arabic music on the cello, which is something that is not done a lot. And it's one of my goals is to develop Arabic cello and the language of Arabic cello. I hope you enjoy. I'll start with an improvisation leading into the first movement. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening, everyone.
I'm plodding alone in my room for Nassim. I'm getting more into this. I'm imagining myself as like a virtual disc jockey, you know, like I'm on the air, speaking out to the air. Yeah, that was amazing, Nassim. It actually makes me remember that one time when I was driving in the car with Nassim, we were in about 2.5 hours of traffic, and with Faris actually, who's going to be performing next, and we were listening to a recording, orchestral recording of some of that piece, and it was really cool to hear it solo as well. And actually, I can tell a little story that can tie something in, which is Faris Ishak, who's going to be playing with Jose Soto in a second. We were all in the car together driving up to Newburyport, Massachusetts to do an event. I should probably say something about the Autumn Salon, which is the organization, which is the group of artists, global network of artists that are part of an organization that I created to support different artistic traditions around the world and share them with audiences who might not otherwise encounter them, and the beauty of just all the incredible arts and culture and musicians and artists that we have in our world. And I think, especially during a time like this where we are looking, I think a lot of people are looking to connect to something meaningful. You know, it's almost like when our outer world starts to become less predictable and, you know, uncertain. I think we look within ourselves to our inner lives, our cultural lives, our personal lives, our connections with others, to find stability, to find meaning, whether it's on a human level or spiritual level. And I think the arts have always served that purpose. And so I am very happy to share that, share my efforts to honor and yeah, just give the opportunity for artists to have that voice. And so anyway, we were driving in the car, listening to music, and we were going up to a very talented painter named Katie Swatland's studio. Katie has worked with Autumn Salon very closely, and so we had Faris give a presentation of his instrument, which is a ney, which is a very old, about a 5,000-year-old flute, and which you will see shortly. But Katie actually did a painting for the evening that I'm going to just put on the screen so you can see for a moment. So this is the painting that Katie did to surprise Faris when he came to perform. And we actually have that evening recorded on the Autumn Salon site. If you follow I believe there is a link on the group news page, or if you went through Autumn Salon, you'll already be there. Some of the performances section. But anyway, that's a little bit of an introduction for Faris and Jose Soto on piano, who I've met recently through Faris, I believe he's from Costa Rica. And yeah, well, I'm just going to hand it over to you guys. There we go.
Thank you, Christos.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're staying warm, healthy, and safe. I really wish you blessings and good health. It was so great to hear my friend Nassim. He brought me back to Palestine, my hometown, Bethlehem. We actually grew up together, and we used to have music jams together also. So I'm also lucky to have my friend here, Jose Sato. Soto from Costa Rica.
Thank you very
I'm really lucky to have him as my roommate, my friend also. The first piece we're gonna play is called Moses Snake. It's an original composition I did with my friend. He's called Shafiq As-Sadi. The main search of this song is between illusion and reality. So it goes back to the story of Moses, snake versus the other magician's snake, where Moses' snake was the actually real one, and the other magician's snake, they're actually were illusion. So let's see if we can find the real snake in this song. Thank you. The next piece, actually, it's gonna be an improvised on a poetry cycle. So I've been fascinated a lot by poem meters, especially Arabic poem meters. They have really different subdivisions than any other kind of poetry. So for my album Tripolarity, I've translated different poem meters into rhythmical cycles, and in this one, we're gonna improvise on a 23/8 poetry cycle. We're gonna do it a little bit different than, because we don't have the full band here, so we're gonna do it with our interpretation. Hope you enjoy it. تقول لدار دهرها لا يسالم، وموت بأسواق النفوس يساوم، وأوجه قتلا زينتها المباسم، على قدر أهل العزم تأتي العزائم، وتأتي على قدر الكرام المكارم. أتتنا ليال ليس يحفظ جارها، ونار أسى النار الجحيم شرارها، يفرق ما بين الرجال اختبارها، وتكبر في عين الصغير صغارها، وتصغر في عين العظيم العظائم. وغزلان جو قد شغفن براحه، رأى حرما صيادها فاستباحه. وغزلان جو قد شغفن براحه، رأى حرما صيادها فاستباحه. يفدي أدم الطير عمرا سلاحه، نسور الأسى أحداثها والقشاعم، نسور الملا أحداثها والقشاعم، نسور الملا أحداثها والقشاعم، نسور الملا أحداثها والقشاعم، أحداثها والقشاعم، نسور الملا أحداثها والقشاعم، نسور الملا سور الملا أحداثها وغزلان جو قد شغفن براحة، رأى حرما صيادها فاستباح راح رمى صيادها فاستباح. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys. It was wonderful. It was awesome. So I guess I should take a moment to also remind everyone to please support our artists. All of the money for tonight's concert goes to our artists. Support them. Obviously, this has been a really difficult time for all of us, and particularly for people whose jobs require them to be out. And obviously, with musicians, performing artists, that's so much of what is involved. So yeah, so we thank you very much for anything you would like to contribute. On the event webpage, you will see a button where you're able to contribute to the artists. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in and for supporting. For our final performance, we have a wonderful South Indian vocalist, Rohith Jayaraman, who is a fantastic singer. And just to up the game, we also have a really incredible dancer with us, Yamini Kaluri, who is also in the Indian tradition of Kuchipudi, which is an Indian dance form. And we're going to attempt to have them perform together over, in the virtual space. And as we've said, there is a bit of a lag, so it might not line up. But for the second half of Rohith's performance, we will be including that. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Rohith.
Great. Hi, everyone. Good evening or morning or afternoon or good time zone to wherever you are. Welcome to my house. I'm so grateful to everybody for being here, for tuning in. Thank you for staying home. For those of you that are out working, essential jobs, thank you for everything that you're doing, and thank your family members if there are nurses or delivery folk. We're just really grateful to everyone for staying home and for being out. And it's a really interesting time for all of us to be artists. And thank you, Christos, for putting this together. This is a beautiful opportunity for us to continue sharing our art forms with other people. I'm also really grateful to be playing with such wonderful musicians. I'm also really upset to be following all of them. But jokes aside, it's been a beautiful evening, and I hope for those of you who haven't heard Indian music that this is an opportunity for you to hopefully get into a new genre of music. I come from a background of Carnatic music, which is the South Indian classical tradition of music in India. There's a North Indian classical tradition and a variety of really popular and very developed folk traditions and regional traditions. And I grew up learning Carnatic music. And when I got older, I grew up in the States, so I was listening to gospel, and I was listening to hip hop, and it opened up my ears, and I'm so grateful for that. And when I got older and went to college and met a bunch of musicians from around the world, it really pushed me out of my comfort zone. And today is actually a very fun opportunity for me to actually get back to singing what is Carnatic music in its most traditional form, which is a solo melodic instrument voice, in this case with the drum. So I'll be sharing two songs tonight, and as Christos mentioned, the second song I'll be joined by Yamini, who will be dancing virtually with me. And the first piece is a very, very famous poem in the language Tamil, which is from Tamil Nadu, which is the southernmost state in India, and it's the language my parents speak and my family speaks. And actually, the original composition for this poem is very famous. It's almost like an anthem of sorts. But a great artist named T.M. Krishna retuned this composition, and it's this melody that's really resonated with me. The song is most often interpreted as a sort of love letter from a parent to a child, but you know, there's any number of ways that you can interpret this, and I hope that that you enjoy. So Chinnanjiri Kiliye is the name of the composition, and yeah, please enjoy. சின்னஞ்சிறு கிளியே கண்ணம்மா சின்னஞ்சிறு கிளியே கண்ணம்மா செல்வ களஞ்சியமே சின்னஞ்சிறு கிளியே கண்ணம்மா செல்வ களஞ்சியமே என்னை களி தீர்த்த உலகில் ஏற்றம் புரிய வந்தாய் சின்னஞ்சிறு கிளியே கண்ணம்மா செல்வ களஞ்சியமே என்னை களி தீர்த்த உலகில் ஏற்றம் புரிய வந்தாய் சின்னஞ்சிறு கிளியே கண்ணம்மா செல்வ களஞ்சியமே பிள்ளை கனி அமுதே கண்ணம்மா பேசும் பொற்சித்திரமே பிள்ளை கனி அமுதே கண்ணம்மா பேசும் பொற்சித்திரமே அள்ளி அணைத்திடவே என் முன்னே அள்ளி அணைத்திடவே என் முன்னே அள்ளி அணைத்திடவே என் முன்னே ஆடி வரும் தேனே பிள்ளை கனி அமுதே கண்ணம்மா பேசும் பொற்சித்திரமே அள்ளி அணைத்திடவே என் முன்னே ஆடி வரும் தேனே ஆடி வருகையிலே ஆடி வருகையிலே ஏடி வருகையிலே ஏடி வருகையிலே கண்ணம்மா உள்ளம் குளிருதடி ஓடி வருகையிலே கண்ணம்மா உள்ளம் குளிருதடி ஓடி வருகையிலே கண்ணம்மா உள்ளம் குளிருதடி ஆடி திரிது கண்டால் உன்னை போய் ஆவி தழுவுதடி உச்சிதனை முகந்தால் கருவம் ஓங்கி வளருதடி உச்சிதனை முகந்தால் பார்த்தால் கர்வம் ஓங்கி வளருதடி. மெச்சி உன்னை ஊரார் புகழ்ந்தால் மேனி சிரிக்குதடி. மெச்சி உன்னை ஊரார் புகழ்ந்தால் மேனி சிரிக்குதடி. கன்னத்தில் முத்தமிட்டார் உள்ளம் தான் கல்வெறி கொள்ளுதடி. கன்னத்தில் முத்தமிட்டார் உள்ளம் தான் கல்வெறி கொள்ளுதடி. கன்னத்தில் முத்தமிட்டார் உள்ளம் தான் கல்வெறி கொள்ளுதடி. உன்னை தழுவிடிலோ கண்ணம்மா, உன்னை தழுவிடிலோ கண்ணம்மா, உன்னை தழுவிடிலோ கண்ணம்மா, மத்தமாகுதடி. கண்ணீர் நீர் வழிந்தார் நெஞ்சில் உதிரம் கொட்டுதடி. கண்ணீர் நீர் வழிந்தார் நெஞ்சில் உதிரம் கொட்டுதடி. உன் கண்ணீர் நீர் வழிந்தார் நெஞ்சில் உதிரம் கொட்டுதடி. என் நிற்பவன்றோ கண்ணம்மா, கண்ணீர் பாவ என்றோ கண்ணம்மா, என் கண்ணீர் பாவ என்றோ கண்ணம்மா, என் உயிர் நின்னதன்றோ, என் உயிர் நின்னதன்றோ, என் உயிர் நின்னதன்றோ. சின்னஞ்சிறு கிளிய கண்ணம்மா செல்வ களஞ்சிய, என்னை களி தீர்த்த உலகில் ஏற்றம் புரிய வந்தாய். சின்னஞ்சிறு கிளிய கண்ணம்மா செல்வ களஞ்சியமே, என்னை களி தீர்த்தே உலகில் ஏற்றம் புரிய வந்தாய். சின்னஞ்சிறு கிளிய கண்ணம்மா செல்வ களஞ்சியமே, கண்ணம்மா செல்வ களஞ்சியமே, கண்ணம்மா செல்வ களஞ்சியமே. Thank you. So interesting to be playing in a vacuum. But without further ado, I'm gonna move on to the next song, which is a very different kind of composition. The raga or mode or scale, I guess, Punnagavarali, which is one of these interesting ragas in Carnatic music, where we actually change our tonic from sa or do, so to speak, to the fa or ma of the scale. So we actually will sing in a different key almost. So it's a very very interesting kind of tradition within Carnatic music. And I'm very excited to be virtually sharing the stage with Yamini Kaluri, who will be dancing the other South Indian dance tradition, Kuchipudi. గంధము పుయ్యరుగ పన్నీరు గంధము పుయ్యరుగ 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 అందమైనయదు నందనుపై అందమైనయదు నందనుపై కుందరదనలిరువొందగ పరిమళ గంధము పుయ్యరుగ పన్నీరు గంధము పుయ్యరుగ అందమైనయదు నందనుపై అందమైనయదు నందనుపై కుందరదనలిరువొందగ పరిమళ గంధము పుయ్యరుగ పన్నీరు గంధము పుయ్యరుగ తిలకముదిత్తరుగ కస్తూరి తిలకముదిత్తరుగ తిలకముదిత్తరుగ కస్తూరి తిలకముదిత్తరుగ తిలకముదిత్తరుగ కస్తూరి తిలకముదిత్తరుగ తిలకముదిత్తరుగ కస్తూరి తిలకముదిత్తరుగ కళకళ మనుముఖ కళగని చొక్కుచు కళకళ మనుముఖ కళగని చొక్కుచు బలుకుల నమృతములొలికెడు స్వామి గంధము పుయ్యరుగ పన్నీరు గంధము పుయ్యరుగ చేలము గట్టెరుగ బంగారు చేలము గట్టెరుగ 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 మాలిమితో గోపాల పాలులతో మాలిమితో గోపాల పాలులతో నాలమేపిన విశాల నయరునికి గంధము పుయ్యరుగ పన్నీరు గంధము పుయ్యరుగ హారతులెత్తెరుగ ముత్యాల హారతులెత్తెరుగ హారతులెత్తెరుగ ముత్యాల హారతులెత్తెరుగ హారతులెత్తెరుగ ముత్యాల హారతులెత్తెరుగ హారతులెత్తెరుగ ముత్యాల హారతులెత్తెరుగ నారిమాణులకు వారము యౌవన నారిమాణులకు వారము యౌవన వారకమొసగెడు వారి జాక్షునికి గంధము పుయ్యరుగ పన్నీరు గంధము పుయ్యరుగ పూజలు సేయరుగ మనసార పూజలు సేయరుగ పూజలు సేయరుగ సార పూజలు సేయరుగ పూజలు సేయరుగా మనసార పూజలు సేయరుగా పూజలు సేయరుగా మనసార పూజలు సేయరుగా పూజలు సేయరుగా మనసార పూజలు సేయరుగా జాజులు మరి విరివాజులు దవనము జాజులు మరి విరివాజలు దవనము రాజిత త్యాగరాజను తునికి గంధము పుయ్యరుగా పన్నీరు గంధము పుయ్యరుగా గంధము పుయ్యరుగా పన్నీరు గంధము పుయ్యరుగా గంధము పుయ్యరుగా పన్నీరు గంధము పుయ్యరుగా గంధము పుయ్యరుగా గంధము పుయ్యరుగా Thank you so much, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah, have a wonderful evening. Stay indoors, wash your hands, stay safe. Good night.
That was beautiful. Thank you, guys. And hopefully that worked for you all at home. I can see it on my end, but I don't know how it came through to you all. But yeah, it's a bit of a virtual experiment, I suppose. The whole evening has been. But thank you so much for everybody who's tuned in, and also for our amazing musicians who are incredible artists and also just wonderful human beings that I feel very privileged to call my friends. And I'm so glad that everyone had the opportunity to be with us tonight. So please, again, don't forget to contribute to our artists. And we're going to be doing a little post-Zoom hangout. If anyone isn't familiar with Zoom, it's a video conferencing program, and there is a link on the webpage to join, where we'll do a little Q&A with the artists, and also maybe be able to just give them some real-time applause. So thank you all for tuning in here on the YouTube stream. And thank you also to Group Muse. I work Group Muse, but I'm thanking Group Muse nonetheless for providing this platform and opportunity to share our art, music from around the world. And if you don't join us in the chat, thank you so much for being with us. And if you are coming, then I will see you soon. So stay safe, everyone. And I hope that you enjoyed spending time with us tonight. Bye-bye.